Hey everyone, welcome back. This video we're looking at the 8-game Tuesday slate. We have some big injury news already on the slate, especially from Sacramento. We have the Heat potentially missing a bunch of guys. So it should be one where we'll get a lot more news throughout the day, but we got some news already tonight. So let's jump into it. You can drop a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. At point guard, we have LeBron at 10.5. I think he's appropriately priced. He's priced where he should be, 10.5. When he was in the 9K range, that's where I really wanted to jump on him. But I kind of do prefer like Lillard, I think, at $1,000 cheaper if you were paying up, just because he's been amazing. Could even go to I don't think I'll have Kyrie against the Jazz. Young also has a tough matchup, but he's just playing a lot of minutes, and without Collins has gotten a lot more usage, and just 9 of 30 shooting the ball. Still put up 65 fantasy points, so even though it's a tough matchup, he's still at a good price tag, which I would definitely consider him. Shame Fox is going to miss 3 to 4 weeks. He's gotten off to a good start to the season, and without him, the Kings will be in deep trouble because they don't have any other guy that is as good as Fox on the team. I think Bogdanovic will get a lot more run, but probably the starting point guard, they're going to go with Corey Joseph. We'll touch on him. Here, I think Brogdon, I like him. Price tag is down to $7,600. It keeps going lower, so I like Brogdon. I like CJ McCollum, 65. I like Jamal Murray, 63. I like Dennis Schroeder quite a bit, 58. Nobody really plays Schroeder, and all he does is put up solid scores. He does close at times when he's playing well. He has closed a few of these games. He just has 40-point upside, and he's a good shooter. He's been shooting the ball pretty well, and he does get assists, rebounds, decent defender at getting steals too. So I like him in a matchup against the Pacers. Dragic could be interesting if their Heat are missing a bunch of guys again. So those are the main targets above 5K, and then the cheap one is going to be Corey Joseph. I assume he's going to start he's going to start in place of Fox. He's been all right in some games. He hasn't really got much opportunity. He got opportunity last game against the Hawks and put up a nice score. At 3,700, he's definitely too cheap for the amount of minutes he's going to play and the amount of usage he's going to have jumping into the starting lineup. Just going to be a plug and play. Don't have to explain that one that much. At shooting guard, I am going to go with $5,800 for Dennis Schroeder. Just think that he's definitely really cheap still at $5,800. The Thunder even though they're not going to be great, I think they're still pretty good for fantasy because they have some solid players like Gallinari, Schroeder, Chris Paul. They still have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander they brought in. He's been great. They still have a solid center, whether it be Nerlens Noel or Steven Adams. I think Schroeder at 58 is a nice point per dollar play. If you don't feel comfortable with Schroeder, you can go up to Jamal Murray or McCollum or Buddy Hield. But I feel pretty good about Schroeder in this one just because the Pacers, they're still missing a lot of players. He is not going to have to deal with Jeremy Lamb. And coming off the bench, he's going to have to deal with, Aaron Holiday's been starting, so maybe he'll deal with some Justin Holiday. TJ McConnell has been their backup point guard. So I think Schroeder can have a pretty good game again at a pretty good price tag. At small forward here, we have Jabari Parker. Played him last time out against the Blazers. He went off. He had 6 steals and blocks combined in that one. Also shot 13 of 23, and it did go into overtime. So a lot went right, especially with the defensive categories. This one, the Nuggets don't turn the ball over that much. I don't think he's going to get 12 points based on steals and blocks, but I think he still has a solid floor just because they need a number 2 next to Trae Young, and he is definitely the only other guy on the team that really is willing to shoot the ball at 20 times a game. Nobody else really likes to shoot that much on the Hawks besides Trae Young. So I don't mind Jabari at 73. I think he's still fine, and he has a ceiling. I think Butler's interesting if they're missing a bunch of players, although the matchup is tough against a pretty slow Pistons team. And then Jeremy Lamb is out again. So I think TJ Warren here is is going to be a nice play. If you look at the box score, 26 and 25, doesn't look too interesting, but the matchups were both tough against the Magic, one of the best defensive teams in the league, and Detroit. They just play slow, and they have a lot of big guys too. This one against OKC, they don't have many, they have a lot of guards. They don't have a lot of forwards. Have been bad against small forwards and power forwards this season. He'll be matched up probably against, they might put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on him, or they might put Gallinari. Either one, they're not tremendous defenders. And Warren, he's been getting the job done just by scoring a bunch of points. He hasn't really had a lot of rebounds or assists, but he is playing a lot of minutes. He's going to run into just a few peripherals, and he does have upside in the 30s and 40s. So I like him. I like the price tag at 57. At power forward here, Davis is probable at 10,000. He's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. He's been all right. It's kind of been what we thought with him playing next to LeBron. They're gonna take some fantasy points and usage away from each other. Davis has had one game where you really needed him against Memphis, where he put up 73. Other than that, he's just been all right. He still, I think, might be a little too expensive just because LeBron and him, they're both going to average like 55 fantasy points, but it's going to be tough to pick when one of them goes for 70. There's not going to be many times where one goes for 80 fantasy points like they would if they were the only star on the team. But Sabonis is a slam dunk for me today against this weak front court of the Thunder. If Adams is out, that's another guy that he won't have to contend with. But the Thunder are bad at rebounding the basketball, as you would expect with the amount of guards they have on the team, and they do play like three guards together at times. Sabonis is just a monster. No Miles Turner in this one. He's going to see 38, 39 minutes. As long as he's not in foul trouble. He's been racking up assists. He can flirt with a triple-double. Last 3 games, he's had 20 total assists. Just been doing it all on the court. So at 8,400, he's still too cheap in a really good matchup at home. So he's one of my favorite plays at power forward. And at center here, Embiid is underpriced at 9,400. They've also not been playing him a ton of minutes. It wasn't really a blowout against Charlotte, but Al Horford is resting, so Embiid will be able to get more rebounds and a little more usage. But I think you could go to Joker at 8,300. Drummond will be pretty interesting, especially I'm not sure if they're going to rest Blake Griffin or not, but if they do, then Drummond is a really good play at 8,900 against Miami. But I find it tough to get off of Nikola Jokic at just $8,300 unless Griffin is indeed out. But either way, I think Jokic is still a great play. In that case, I might try to get Jokic and Drummond in together. Jokic has finally got back on track after starting off the season in a rough patch. Last time out, he had back-to-back game-winning shots against the Timberwolves and against the Philly. Now he's facing a very bad Atlanta Hawks defense, especially against the center position. They play Alex Len. He doesn't play very many minutes because he's not been very good this year. You'll see some minutes of Alex Len, then you'll see some minutes of whatever combination they throw in as their backup center. I think Jokic is going to destroy at home. The only concern he could have if this game does turn into a blowout, but the Hawks hung in there against Portland and forced overtime. The Hawks are going to be decent as long as Trae Young is hitting his shots and as long as Jabari is doing good. At 83, he's too cheap in a really good matchup. The Hawks also turn the ball over a ton. Should be a good opportunity for Jokic to rack up some steals and or blocks. So those are the 5 guys I have a lot of interest in. And then here at the guard position, I like CJ McCollum quite a bit. I think McCollum, Hield, Jamal Murray, these 3 are all really solid options. But I'm kind of leaning towards McCollum just because he's playing so many minutes. It was 42 minutes in overtime. But the 2 games before that, 40 minutes and 40 minutes. Even though he's not been great this year, just at shooting the basketball, we know that's going to go up. He's just a good shooter for those numbers not to turn around. Last time out, he showed a little bit with shot almost 50%, 11 of 23. But he's just playing so many minutes that he's going to get assists, rebounds. gonna run into steals, especially against a Kings team that does turn the ball over a lot. They are very bad defensively, and without Fox, they're gonna probably turn the ball over even more. 6,500 is still a really good price tag for McCollum, so I have interest there. And then the other guy on the Kings you could look at, besides Buddy Hield, you could look at Barnes if you want at 5,900, or you could look at Bogdanovich, 5,400. His price tag did go up. I wish he was like 4,700, under 5K, but he's probably going to get a lot of point guard duties, or he's at least going to see a lot of time on the court. I would expect 30-plus minutes out of him until Fox is back. So he's another guy that you can look at. But I feel pretty good about these as of now. I'm sure with it being an 8-game slate, we'll get a lot of injuries that just completely changes the slate. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can like the video if you enjoyed, and catch you all next time.